was. Switch this out. So I guess those had to be synced or something. All right. I've changed the setting if you guys haven't noticed. It's a more festive, spare dirty mattress that the cat fucking snots all over, and the nice Game of Thrones and some ambient lighting. But you guys have been asking, and thank you, Sir Pirate, because you pointed out lack of being able to hear me. Well, now we can solve that problem. So thank you, sir. So it's what's today? Thursday night. Thursday night, sleepless night. But I figured, see Zach, what's up, brother? Figured I would get on here and address that I missed on Monday. I've been missing uploads, and I'm like, oh, this week for sure. This week for sure. Well, one of the things I wanted to talk about was overcoming fear, anxiety, and depression while manifesting. And a lot of I think a reason that a lot of you find me so relatable is the fact that I'm open and honest about what I've went through, what I'm going through, and stuff like that. So, um, when it comes to this, it's like, I was at an all-time peak high when I left that bodybuilding competition in California. Life was great. Coming back, get slapped with some things in reality, kind of put me into depression and a funk. And it was, what do we always talk about? Letting a circumstance dictate your feeling. It was me letting a circumstance dictate my feeling. A circumstance that could have just been a little thing, but I dragged it out and I looked for reasons to make it worse. And it was just something that's been eating away at me. And instead of that, I was using manifesting the opposite direction. More bad things happen. I wound up, then you start deliberately doing things to sabotage yourself. Just like when you're manifesting positively and positively spiraling up, you start deliberately doing things that will benefit you. Like me wanting to do the bodybuilding show or pursue a dream, you're going to be thinking in that state, acting in that state, and one thing's going to lead to another. You're going to have inspired action. You're going to have passions towards that stuff, and you're going to only see opportunities. I started just seeing doubts and stuff like that. And one of the things big on my self concept is as a coach, sometimes I don't feel like I'm doing enough. It's like because the stuff makes sense to me, and you guys always validate, hey, you're doing good, blah blah blah. I just sometimes feel like I don't do a good enough job. So it's like part of you wants to step away, and it's like, is this the right path? Should I go back to comedy? Should I continue on this bodybuilding thing that I reopened the books on? Anything. And that's one of the things too. You realize anything's possible manifesting. You start like, I could do this, I could do that. That's where the anxiety comes in. You're what's the statement? Paralysis by analysis. That one's actually something I learned from my dad, but it's like so many things are going on, so many things are stimulating your mind. You don't know what to take, and you're dealing with undertones of a depression. And then it's like, okay, now you're already looking for the negatives and everything. You don't know exactly what your path is. What's the number one rule of manifesting? Know exactly what you want and where you're going, and you'll get there. So I think it was the last live 2 Mondays ago, somebody asked me my manifesting routine. I had to be honest. I told them what my manifesting routine was and what it is now. It's like I've slipped way off what I'm doing. So I'm like, I think one of the things you guys always related with was the fact that I'm open and honest about stuff. It's like I've slipped way the fuck off. It's like, well, what are you manifesting now? I don't know. It's like, would I like the channel to be bigger and doing better and being full time? Yeah, but do I do it enough where I'm visualizing it? No. And like, do I want to go back to comedy? Yeah, but are you writing it? No, not really. Are you working on films or going out doing things? Because sometimes there's inspired action, just like doing the bodybuilding show. I can't just say I want to be a bodybuilder. I have to go do the show, right? So I had to go do that, but it was something that was passionate, and all the things led me to where I needed to go. So for the past month, I've been struggling with what do I want to do? Who am I? And it's like something always pulls back to this channel, to Mystic. And we talked about your dreams not arriving in the right order sometimes, but the right order is just something you deem to be the right order, right? I said I was going to be a football player, a bodybuilder, then an actor and a comedian, and then from there finish off life as a motivational speaker. Things went completely the other way around. I wound up being a motivational speaker first, then doing the bodybuilding. I've done the acting and stuff, and it didn't take off, but it's like, start putting yourself where you need to be, knowing what you want. That's the first thing. You could put yourself in whatever state you want to be in when you know where you're going to. And that's something I had to come to terms with. And it's like everything kind of led me back here. It's like, oh, if I do comedy, how will people perceive me on Mystic? If I make a movie, how do they perceive me over there? it's like what I realized was my greatest passion was this channel. And right now I think that's the best opportunity to like pursue, or not opportunity, but like endeavor, the best endeavor to pursue in my life, where I could balance this and bodybuilding. You could be doing two things at once. And that's kind of what led me back to here. And it's like, you know what? It's late in the middle of the night. Um, SP's out of town. So it's like, you know what? I started going back to, I wrote it out. This is why I say write things down. And, you know, it's corny and cliche. That shit works. So I wrote things down. What do I want in life? You know, Pirate, I was talking to him today. He has an amazing opportunity that unfolded in his life. Um, I got to spend more time with my brother today, which is something I haven't been doing and I've been feeling guilty about. So it's like that's something I knew I wanted. Now it's on the forefront of my mind. Opportunities presented themselves. So overall, I'm like, let me just get back on here, see what's going on. Let me take some questions, see what's going on. I saw a tweet and it read, anxiety is so embarrassing. Like, oh no, what if something happens? Well, it didn't cure my anxiety. It did more for me than therapy. Comparison is a tiny thief of joy. Confront the thief in progress. You are the master of your mind. Thank you, Pirate. I appreciate that. I have a friend who is a lazy fuck who anything better, doesn't do anything to better their life. You are an inspiration to those who want to do well. Thank you, brother. You inspire me too, and thank you for the donation too. You don't have to do that, but I appreciate you, and we're going to get together and celebrate your victory soon, about what you're going through in life. So I appreciate you, brother. Um, yeah, and I'm like, I think I've always prayed for the chance to be a better coach. So I will go through things, and it's like, where the fuck did this come from? It is a subconscious manifestation that I want. I want challenges and endeavors, but when they come through, you can't get rattled by them. Stuff they went through kind of rattled me so bad where I was just you get to a point where you relish in the self-pity and the wallowing and stuff like that. You start to like it, and you'll say no. I'll say no. We'll all say no. You like it because nobody expects anything of you. You don't have to pick up your bootstraps and keep moving. You don't got to change your mindset. Everyone's just going to feel bad and blah blah blah. No, it's time to be a man, be a girl, be a woman, be a man, be a woman. Step up, be an adult, pull yourselves together. So that's what I wound up doing. And it's like, okay, the whole point of this is stopping the anxiety is picking out one major goal. And that's why you write it down and you pick out the minor goals, because everybody has more than one thing they want in this life. So I picked out the major thing. It's like, okay, I want to focus on this channel. And it's like, the channel is a very noble, honorable endeavor where I gain a lot of value from helping people. Um, and it's just been something that I really enjoy doing. But, you know, like I said, I go through doubt sometimes. So I've been going through this whole process and stuff like that. I'm trying to make sure. Nick, is that you? Oh my gosh, good to see you. Good to see you too, John. It's been a minute. Yeah, I'm just addressing. I put us back. Somebody goes, I want to get back to the basics in one of the other lives. So it's like, here with my spare mattress, because there's no spare bed. Well, the spare bedroom's the Mystic office. So we got the spare bed out in the fucking living room, the Game of Thrones thing. I set up some ambient light. We're getting back to more of like the cool stuff. You know, I think another thing too, Pirate brought up a good point about, you know, as much as I'm trying to be the example for everybody, you get through times where you're comparing yourself to other people. I'm comparing, am I good enough for the channel? Am I a good coach? What if I want to do these other things? What will they think? It's like at the end of the day, I love and respect all of you guys, and you guys have been here for me, like I've been here for you, and we've built this community. Um, but self doubt has been the one thing that pulled me back. It's like, you know, I think I get that negative self impression where it was like, oh, you struggled to make it online in other endeavors. Why would you not make it here? But it's like, remember, we saw, this is a crazy success story too. So Inked has another channel. She does like the ghost hunting stuff, right? Back in the day, YouTube said you had to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. This channel crushed the watch time, but I was struggling to get those the 1,000 followers, right? There was about 500-600 of us at the core of all this, and about 2 months, and you had to do all that within 1 year. About 2 months before the 1 year anniversary, we just finished the 2 year anniversary of the channel. But the 2 months right before that, it's like, I don't think I'm going to make it, but it's like, you know what? Anything's possible. YouTube changed the rules. You only had to have, I think it was like 800, and I was at like 850 at the time. So the rules were changed and I got monetized 2 months before the 1 year was up. Then I said, I still want to hit the 1,000 by the end of the year. And it was either the day before, day of, or the day after. I can't remember. It was like on a weekend. Was like the 1 year anniversary, I believe. And yeah, so that I wound up accomplishing that goal, but everything changed, right? Ink told me about her channel. She's at 850 right now. It's called The Ghosted Woman, her channel, if you guys want to check it out. But she's at that mark and they're not monetizing her. They're still saying she needs that 1,000 subscribers. I'm like, but they changed the rules. So it's just kind of crazy to see. It's kind of crazy to see how the rules have changed and stuff like that. And I want to talk about, finding opportunity in the misfortune. And it's not that there's a misfortune, it's just a circumstance that you're going through, right? So mine was like all this self-doubt. Well, brought me closer with my brother. So in honor of my brother, who I've been hanging out with the past couple of days, got the lighter he gave me, and he forgot the one I gave him. But let's light up a cigar and we'll have a chat. So we got a coffee and a cigar. We don't have as many viewers. Sometimes we get a lot at nighttime, but uh, but we're here now. And yeah, one of the biggest things I've learned through, I've talked about this, having the panic attacks and the depression and what do you call it, anxiety and stuff all my life. But through manifesting, it's like, okay, whatever you say you're going to do, there's no reason to be anxious or depressed because you already made it. You're so confident in the statement you made for the world and what's going on that it's going to unfold. There's no reason to be anxious or paralyzed by fear or anything like that. No reason to have fear. That's the other thing I forgot to put in the title is fear. So being afraid of something is, we talked about this many times before, when you're afraid, you're manifesting that in. Fear is just the negative version of excitement. You're bringing in negative opportunities. So I wanted to talk about that. And like the main thing, like I said, is write stuff down. It's cliche and boring and stuff like that. Nobody wants to do it. Even when I try to help SP do some stuff, she'll be like, "Oh, I don't want to write that down." Well, you need to write it down. It's just like, focus on your main goal. It's like, I broke out the Mystic notebook today. I found it we were looking for it in the last live. So, we could go over some other methods. Mini manifestation lists are really good for anxiety, because it's just something that you go back and you check a week or two or a month later, and it's like, wow, I feel better because all these things got accomplished and I didn't even notice it. And you realize that the world is taking care of you. It's all working out in your favor, and there's nothing to worry about. I feel like I'm very off today too. Maybe this is part of the self-concept stuff, but it's like, I feel like I'm all over the place. I didn't really plan this. It's like, I know it's the middle of the night. I got to be up at 8 a.m. I still got to hit a workout, but it's like, let me tackle one thing at a time. Oh, thank you, brother. It's like, there's no, like, let me tackle one thing at a time. What I can focus on right now is the channel. And I feel like this is where I would say, follow your passion. This is inspired action. The inspired action is like drawing from me. Hey, go do a video, like go do a live. It's so overwhelming that it's like, okay, you're gonna put the workout on a back seat. But if you let the anxiety take over, it's like, you could kind of see how when I talk, and I think a lot of people could see it too. If you're anxious, I have to work out, and it has to be a good workout, and I have to cover blah 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 blah, and you got all these subcategories underneath the workout. Then I got to make videos, and you have all the subcategories, all the videos you make, and all little notes in your head. I also got to go live. Live is like that. They go together, but I got to do this one. And I know it's going to take me at least 2 hours. Plus, it's late. I have to get at least 3 to 4 hours of sleep before I got to be at work. And then I want to hit a workout in the morning. But now it's too late to do a yesterday workout. So does this one come for today or tomorrow? Now, this is how my brain works. And I know a lot of people with anxiety, and it's kind of how it works. Like, you got all these things going on. Then it's like, plus there's a competition coming up. And then, oh, I got to answer all these text messages from people. And like, oh, I got to stay in touch with this friend. Oh, you know what? I got laundry to do at home, and I got to do cleaning and blah, blah, blah. And you got all these things on your mind, right? You have not. So if your mind is disorganized, if I talk about cleaning a house and stuff like that, which funny coming from me, right? You always see it's messy, but you tackle one obstacle at a time. Even Neville talks about in manifesting, you're manifesting one thing at a time. Now I had a question the other day about, can you manifest multiple things at once? Like if you're manifesting an SP, can you manifest somebody else in between? And the answer is yes. So just in case that guy's watching, he's a new viewer, I didn't recognize his name. If you want to manifest someone else in between, or the perfect SP, or a certain one, or another specific person that you have no resistance to, even if it's far-fetched and it just sounds fun and that's your passion, do that. Doesn't mean the other one's not going to be there. In fact, you could have the belief that doing this speeds up that other manifestation. That's the permission slip you wrote yourself, so that will happen. But yes, you can manifest multiple things at once, but focusing on so many things, that's why I love the mini manifestation list. Or I make lists on things I actually have to do throughout the day. There's a list, it's going to get done, but it's like you just know your main goal. It's like the main goal, that's your inspired action. I feel pulled to make videos, so that's the right move to make today. So anyway, yeah, that's how you tell about inspired action. And a lot of times inspired action could feel like anxiety too. So that's another thing to watch out for. But when you're depressed too, this is something I know from someone who's always like, I mean, even as a little kid, um, going back, my childhood wasn't bad. It's like, you got, I think this is a normal childhood. Sometimes you step out of line, you're gonna get a little fucking, there's only a couple smacks, but there was some smacks, and it's like or you're gonna get yelled at, or you're gonna get lectured, or whatever. Same thing as everyone else. So it wasn't really that, but it was always that I had this sense of like I have to do bigger and better, and I have to be something great. So that was an expectation I put on myself as a little kid, and it led to not wanting to go out, not going out to party, those aren't bad things. I had a good life growing up, so I liked all that, and I had this drive for my passions and my goals, but I was in that hustle culture mindset and stuff like that, and I would try really, really hard. And when you're trying, you could start failing, and then you just start beating yourself up more. And it's like, oh, I'm 14 and 15 now. Arnold was here, and just like Pirate said, we're talking about comparison. I would be at that time. I was a fan of Arnold. Now, no, not even close. Fuck his freedom. Uh, but you start comparing yourself to others, and then you're creating the illusion of failure. Oh, and that's creating more depression, and now it's in a cycle. And you're feeling depressed, so you can't pick yourself up. You can't do what you need to do, and that depression cycle, it comes from setting an expectation or an attachment to, this has to unfold this way at this time, and if not, I have failed. You've made yourself the failure. Then you are the only one who has the power to take that away. Everyone could tell you motivational things, I could tell you motivational things, but if you don't remove that permission slip of that you gave yourself, that yep, I'm a failure and I'm a loser, oh, I didn't accomplish this by this age, or I didn't win this particular thing, or I didn't do this, now I'm a failure. You created that for yourself. If you're happy and you give yourself permission to find happiness in whatever you're doing, you'll be just fine, because you're giving yourself, like, remember, even in the terms of SP, I mean, all of us want to have our SPs, right? We want a specific person, or our ex, or whatever it is back. You want to get that person, you have to take the breadcrumbs. And this is the part where it's like people fucking hate on the manifesting community. Oh, you guys are simping, or like the women are simping too, even like everything. They're going to call us whatever they want to call us, right? Because you're trying to go, get an ex back or whatever, right? Um, when you're going through that, you're taking almost the breadcrumbs and you're turning those into positives. You're trying to get a promotion and you're getting turned down again and again. Remember, we went through my story about getting a promotion. It's like, why not? Like, I'm open to leaving the job. I'm open to going wherever, but it's like, what were the things I really wanted? I wound up leaving that job to get what I wanted, but I was open to it unfolding. It's like I could have got the promotion, and like everyone who needed to be removed for me to get the promotion, they would quit, leave, or get fired. Um, and like the doors just kept reopening at that place. And when I released the attachment that it had to be at that place, another place with all the same things I was looking for, two doors down, that job opened up, and it was even better than I could have imagined. Because even if I got the other one, it would not have been really what I wanted. So I had to go to this one to get it, right? But if I would have held the idea of it had to be that place, then I'm a failure now, even though this is a better gig. Even though it's a better gig, would I consider myself a failure because I didn't succeed there? No, I actually got whatever I wanted. So sometimes when people are trying to manifest their SP, and they get somebody else coming in who's even better, I still believe, because I mean, look, I still took the X back. Um, so even though I did that, I took the X back. You don't have to. It's like that's your free will. You get the opportunity. All the things you want to manifest in life, they will present themselves to you. Like, I mean, I had the quote unquote perfect SP, the person you scripted on thin air, pop up into my reality. And then I had my ex. And then it's like, who's the SP that you know now? But it's like, I had that choice. So hold on, let me go back and see. Somebody wrote something. Eric, what's up, brother? Glad to see you. I see we got more people coming in. Yeah, I figured just drop in, give everybody a little update on where I'm at, and take my life lessons that I'm going through, and take the lessons I'm going through. No, take my life events and give you the lessons from them. Like I said, I pray for there to be struggles so that way I can learn from them to be a better teacher. Because sometimes I do believe this. Like, look, I work in the trades by day, right? You do your apprenticeship for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, whatever trade you're in, there's a different amount of apprentice time. So you have all this time as an apprentice. Your sole job is to watch, learn, and help. So you're on a learning journey for those amount of years where all you're doing is worried about consuming the knowledge. Same thing with manifesting. When I wanted to get my ex back, when I wanted to change my life, when I wanted to make more money, when I wanted to get a better job and have doors unlocked for me, I focused on, okay, what do I got to do? Like with trades, you got to go to classes. So classes are reading the books, studying Neville, watching other YouTubers, going through all this stuff. Okay, I'm learning from them. But then where's the hands-on stuff? So that's the mini manifestations. That's going out and putting what you had heard into practice, what you have learned into practice. And are there bumps? Are you failing? Yeah, because that's what you do, especially in the trades. Okay, the trades. Okay, here's how you do this plumbing job. Oh, you've caused a major fucking leak. But guess what? It still works out. There's always somebody else there. They'll back you up. They close it. They fix it, whatever. And then the job's done and it's done the right way. You go through this where we learn you can't fuck this up. So I'm going through, I'm learning, fucking things up, and then realizing, no, they still solve themselves. They all work out. I always know what to do. So nothing is fucked, right? And the words of the Big Lebowski, of Walter and the Big Lebowski, nothing is fucked, dude. Nothing is fucked. So I go through that apprenticeship, but then once you become the journeyman, you know how to do things, so you just kind of do them real quick. And then sometimes you get lazy and it's like, oh, I haven't had to do this in a while. And then you forget. The more you're detached from it and you don't have to do it anymore, it's like you do something so many times, it becomes muscle memory and you're cool with it. And then you move along with life and it's just like, oh, I haven't done that in a minute. So it's like, that's why it's like it's perfect for me to start the channel fresh off all that stuff. It was perfect for me now looking back to go through a breakup with the perfect, like where everything was going perfectly during the first year of the channel, where it's like I thought I had everything unlocked, to unlock those lessons that I needed to learn. So it's like, okay, there was still something I needed to learn. And that's why it was very important for me to go through everything that I went through. And I still pray for more struggles so that way I could learn something. Because what I went through recently and all this depression and stuff and the lack of self-worth and not having a manifesting schedule, not having a goal, threw me way the fuck off, because somebody needs to hear this message. So I'm thankful that that stuff happened. I'm thankful for every bad thing that happened, because it wasn't a bad thing. It was just a lesson. It was something that happened to lead me to where I needed to be. And this is the mindset I want to pass on to you guys, because my goal is, as a teacher, I want you to be learning from my mistakes and my fuck ups and not make them, and get your stuff faster, more efficiently, and become a better manifestor than me, become a better coach than me. You pass on what you have learned, and I'm passing on what I have learned, and it just goes on, and keep this knowledge alive, keep the manifesting community alive, keep supporting each other, and just change that mindset. Does it mean you are not going to fall back in and have pitfalls? No, because look at me, you've seen me, ups and downs, and I tell you, I'm never going to be like the person who's going to show you the perfect side of my life. I might disappear for a while. Doesn't mean that some of the disappearing comes from laziness, but some of it actually comes from I'm going through something. So I'm going to like, hold on, let me focus all my energy and time into figuring this out. But right now, part of figuring out what I wanted was coming back into full force on the channel and knowing that this is my goal. This is what I want to do. And everyone's going to have something to say at the end. Everyone's going to have a critique on you, no matter what. You accepting that or dwelling in it is going to be something that persists. That, like, remember when the channel first started, we had haters and trolls come in, and I loved it because that gave my comedy a chance, because I was still doing the comedy channel when this one started. So it's like, oh, I'm rolling with it, I'm roasting, I'm having fun. I'm enjoying myself. So no big deal, right? If I would have let that become a big thing where it irked me and I couldn't sleep and it bothered me and all that, I mean, for me, I grew up, your parents break your balls, your family breaks your balls, everybody's fucking with you and breaking your balls. All your friends, like at school, like you're hitting shots below the belt sometimes, roasting each other. But like, man, that was kind of personal, man. That hurt. So, the way I grew up, it's like, okay, I could take that. So it's like and when I try to do an acting thing, you guys knew the story about the Sopranos video, 15, 17, 18, 20, probably 20,000 views by now. I don't know. Last time I checked was a couple years ago. It had like 15,000 views. 15,000 people ripping into me online over my favorite show about how bad I was at acting in it. That hurt. That was one that actually hurt. So it's like when you go through all these things, it's like the stuff that hurt you before is not going to hurt you as bad or deeply as last time because you learn from it. And then the more you start doing this manifesting journey and you're trying to get something and you have these quote unquote failures, and then you realize, oh, they weren't failures, they're part of the bridge. Every bad thing that happens to you is still part of the bridge leading you somewhere else. It may not even have anything to do with the thing you're manifesting now, but because that bad thing happened, it will help you later. You look a lot more relaxed talking now than in your earlier videos. Well, first of all, what's up, Viv? I was going to say I recognize that username and it's been a minute, but good to see you. Yeah, my earlier videos was very nervous and starting out in my parents' basement. I was still doing the comedy channel. I just wanted to make a couple videos to help people. I was on the Reddit forums and stuff, and I was in the same place as everybody else. And I try not to forget that. And that's something where I felt like that was what was making me feel like a bad coach because I realized, at my day job, I felt I had become a worse tradesman than I am because things are so slow. It's like they're slow. There's not as much high pace environment that I came from. And talking to some guys that I used to work with, it's like, wow. I mean, me and another guy, we wound up going somewhere else, and it's like the pace is so slow now. It's like I feel like I have become worse because not doing something all the time makes you forget. So even if you don't want to manifest anything, pick something. Like for me, that's why I got the manifesting book out today. This is something for me. It's like have a goal, and it's funny. Life will give you these opportunities to manifest stuff too. For me, I wanted to go to Miami last weekend, I think it was, or the weekend before. I had this plan like before I went to LA. There was some people from the channel going to meet me there. I was going to, some people from the channel were going to meet me there. Me and my friends were going to go there. It was going to be a little something to celebrate because Lily was going to the Grand Canyon, which, she's out there right now with her friend from work. So she's having a trip with her friend. So I was going to get the guys and the Mystics in Florida, and we were going to have a boys trip and Mystic meetup and everything. So I had planned for that, but then it fell apart. It's like one guy's got a family and stuff. He's like, can't really do this trip right now. Another guy bought a house. Another friend bought a house too, but then I was going to go with my brother. He canceled. A couple of the Mystics that were going to be down there, they canceled. So I was like, you know what? It's not going to happen. I kept looking. I'm like, and the prices were ridiculous. I don't know what I want to do down there. It's like, if I had this for free, I would like it. Then, I gave that up like 4 or 5 weeks ago where it's like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to focus on, what do you call it? I'm not going to focus on going to the Miami thing, whatever. I'm supposed to go to Niagara Falls next month with Lily anyway because her birthday's next month. So it's like going to do, I was going to do that trip. Well, I'm going through flights for that, and I stop one, and then I just get an email, win a free trip to Miami with all this blah, blah, blah. I was like, I've never entered to win that. And I remembered an old manifesting book I had from 2-3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, win a trip, because I saw about the most winning lady in the world who won stuff. And it's like nothing to enter. And I'm like, wow, you don't have to enter. You don't have to, I was already part of this website. So you have to give all your information. I'm like, now that's something I keep going to sleep. I'm so thankful for that. And I'm not persisting on it too much. And I do have resistance on it a little bit. But it's like, okay, here's a chance. The chance to learn, the chance to do something has popped up. There's a goal there. It's like, you know what? I was playing around with maybe I'll do another competition. I could slack off on my diet. Well, I slacked off on my diet. Here's a physical reality, 3D example to go with the 4D, right? I slacked off on my physical diet and my training because I still had time before the other competition I was contemplating doing, and I never fully committed to it. So there's no pressure on it. So since there was no pressure on it, I could slack off. It's like, well, I don't really need to go to Miami. I don't really need a new job. I don't really need Mystic Channel to blow up. I don't need to be full time with it. So it was like, oh, it's like I don't really need the Comedy Channel to take off. It's like I really don't care. I'm not worried about it. So I just kept like there was no urgency to do anything, and that's why I said in the one video, I'm like, I don't really have a routine anymore. Well, look what happened. Lost 30 pounds to do the competition, gained 8 pounds back within the time I've been back because I was slacking off. You don't realize how far you start backsliding. This is a lifestyle. Remember, manifesting and positive thinking and stuff like that. This is a lifestyle. You are constantly the guardian of your mind, and you have to protect it from all the negative thoughts. So enough rambling for a second. I'm taking another puff. Late night Nick, yeah, Midnight Mystic. I forgot the hat too. Just like Josh came up with 2 years ago. He's like Mystic Midnight, and yeah, Courtney, you were the one who said you missed it out here. So we got the spare mattress that I don't have a couch mattress, so we just put it behind the couch. The Game of Thrones flag, and now I added some ambience for us. So brought us back to the old school days. Talking about some lessons I'm learning and going through, just reminders. So anyway, even though a lot of this was negative and I dwelled in some self-pity and some negativity and stuff like that, it was what I needed. And then while training for the bodybuilding stuff, it added stress and fractures to my relationship too, and to my friendships and things like that. So everything I kind of forgot about, which I wanted to remember, it took bad things to cause pressure on me to remind myself of it, to learn more. So that's the positive in it, because there's always a positive in everything. When I was scrolling, I thought it was an old video, but I'm like, looks like a new bodybuilder, Nick. Oh, thank you. Yeah, these are the new messages of what I learned from there. So every day is a learning opportunity, and I'm thankful that I've gone through all this. Though it's like I'm just feeling like revitalized now, because now I get to make a goal again. Continue to keep getting in shape and feeling better about yourself. Do something for yourself now. Every time you don't have to do this, but in like as specific person things, this was a thought I had the other day, but I don't talk about it too much because then everyone's going to want to assign themselves this permission slip for achieving their goal. I booked a trip like 2 or 3 times out of the 6 times I had manifested her back. And once again, anybody who wants to, any jerk off wants to come on, 5 or 6 times, but you can't even get yours once, bro. Like, well, that's why you're searching all those videos. But the point is, 2 or 3 of those times I took a trip because 1, I needed to clear my mind. 2, I gave myself the permission slip. If I do that, she's going to want to be around me. And 3, do something for yourself. And I don't do much for myself a lot of times, which is something we have to gift ourselves. And remember, treat yourself the way you want to be treated. If you're feeling bad and not working out, you're hurting your body. If you're not eating right, that was the thing I was doing too. It's like I wasn't even hungry some of these times. And I would go and eat bad food. I would go out and buy bad food. The other day I bought a tub of cookie dough, not a whole tub, but I can eat a whole one in a day if I wanted. It's my favorite cheat meal. A little tub like that big. Went out and bought that and fucking crushed it. Wasn't even hungry. But it's something you start taking actions to destroy yourself when you're in that depression state. When you're focusing on bad, you find more bad. When I say we're focusing on good, it's like, oh, SP unblocked me, but there's still no contact, right? Or I got promoted technically, but they're not going to give me the shift that comes with the promotion like I went through, right? If you just dwell on that negative aspect, you're going to get more of it. But it's like, no, I got promoted. No, I got unblocked. And then and you use that little breadcrumb of positivity to build on. Because when you really break it down, usually the negativity that happens in your life, it could be a big hit. Don't get me wrong. I've been hit like that too. Most of the time, it's a little thing. And it's just that little straw that broke the camel's back, right? That's what leads you to like that depression state. And it's like I said, you kind of relish in the idea of, I like the feeling of being depressed. You won't say it, but there's a comfort in it. Tony Robbins talked about this before, calls it your emotional home. What are you used to? What are you most comfortable with? Being lazy is going to where you're comfortable. This couch is a piece of shit and broken down, but it's kind of comfortable, especially after a long day of work and throwing the TV on, which is another thing I used to not do too. Here's another thing where I broke a mental diet, is I sit down, I'll veg out on TV and I'll scroll through TikTok instead of editing videos for Mystic or whatever. So it's like there's a whole You know what you need to do when you switch that mindset. For me, I want to be a better coach and YouTuber and stuff like that. Finish fucking making the website. Post all the time on Discord. Figure out what the fuck's going on with that, which I'm pretty sure we solved that. There is something I want to do with Discord too, just as a quick announcement, is I want to make it where we, what do you call it? I want to make the Discord a thing where there's like a chat room. As long as we could keep it organized, like whoever's a member there could be like, hey, today at this time, we're going live. I'm going to be in the chat room. Everybody come in, take turns, ask me questions, and we'll go from there. And it's like a more personal, smaller group of people for like I guess a coaching type thing. But it's like a little mastermind group, maybe a couple times a week. Do that. That's kind of on my radar. But to do all that, you actually have to be passionate about what you want. So it's like I was passionate about doing that show, right? So I'm being pulled to do like it's natural. That's your inspired action. It feels good to do this or that. So you're going to naturally do it. It's going to unfold and it's going to be natural. And you're not going to feel like you're forcing anything. That's why I try not to like, if I'm not in the mood, like mentally in my own mood, why am I going to make a video where I'm just being a hypocrite? If I'm fucked up, I can't coach nobody. So I will stop taking clients and stuff like that. Now this month I didn't really turn them down, but I was feeling like a bad coach, and I was feeling really bad about like. Here's two examples. I was feeling like a bad coach. I didn't get very many. What do you call it? I didn't get very many clients this month, even though I was offering the discount for the 2-year anniversary, which is why I'm extending it into September because I already extended it for a couple people. So September I'll do the discounted $100 coaching sessions, but for me, it's like I felt like that. So a bad coach, what does the world have to reflect? A bad coach gets no clients. So it had to reflect that. Same thing with, even though I still look the same that I did in the show, when I did the bodybuilding show, it's like I look the same, but I had a couple bad meals. I'm like, oh, I'm getting fat. I'm looking bad. Blah, blah, blah. I look like shit. Then I start seeing it in the mirror. And Lily couldn't see it. My family couldn't see it. It's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, no, I see it. I see it. Then I go to the gym and somebody who I knew from years ago at the gym ran into me and goes, you had no business on that stage and blah, 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 all this bullshit, which were my fears and anxieties I had before the show. But I got on the stage and I felt that I deserved to be up there because of what I did and I achieved. And it's like, and the next time I come back, I'll do even better. And I had a very good mindset on it. Second, I changed mine, started feeling bad about myself. Then that dude says that. And then it irks me. And why did I take what somebody else said as my reality? That's the same thing where you guys have to watch too. Do not take what someone else's opinion is just their opinion. They're the limiting belief, motherfucker. It's not your job to change their limiting beliefs. They're going to be a limited motherfucker for the rest of their life. You aren't. So I took that in and I just added it because you're in this depression pity party. So I want to add subconsciously when you're depressed like that and you're choosing to keep staying in that state, you're like, let me grab some of this. This feels good. Yeah, now I have more justification for why I am the way I am and blah, blah, blah. You know, you're going through that shit and you're finding more reasons to be depressed. So that's why I'm saying you got to start looking for the reasons to be happy. And sure enough, I stepped on the scale and I kept saying, I got to be 8 pounds overweight. I got to be 8. Why is it 8 pounds exactly? Could be body fluctuates in weight. Why was it 8 pounds every time I stepped on? And then I kept saying, oh, yeah, I'm going to be at 200, over 200. Boom, I'm probably at that at this point. And it's like, you'll find reasons. It's like, even though I usually have energy, why do I have no energy to do morning workouts anymore? I'm getting more sleep actually, but there's no morning workouts. I'm eating the same way I was. Why am I gaining weight? Oh, no, I'm not eating. Actually, I'm eating bad now. But it's like you're looking for reasons to eat bad. People keep bringing you bad food, or like it's like, hey, here's a gift. Like opportunities present themselves to create that reality. If I keep saying I'm 8 pounds overweight and I'm not the weight I want to be, and I don't look the way I want to look, and I look like shit, opportunities will present themselves to physically bring that into fruition. People will say things to verify it, even if it's not true. And then if you take those things in, this is the cycle. That is spiraling. That is, you could spiral up or you could spiral down. That's spiraling down. And it all started because of one event that triggered me when I came back. And that event led me to like at relationship stuff, friendships, families, coaching, my own well-being, all this stuff. It made me completely negative because I took one thing. That's why you are the guardian of your mind. You cannot let one bad thought through, because one bad thought can grow into something bigger, and it will find friends and it will build an army against you. So you have to be the guardian of your mind and build an army of positive thoughts to stand guard. And you have to sit there and remind yourself sometimes, and you got to fake things that aren't here and say you're grateful that they're already here. And you have to do all these techniques, especially when you're down, but it's like a preventative maintenance too. You take your car in every so often to get serviced. You're servicing your mind every so often, reminding yourself of everything you've manifested, keeping a journal, even if you don't feel like it and everything went good that day. Write down stuff that didn't even happen that's even better than the good stuff that happened, and more good will happen. I'm telling you from experience. And then the worst thing is, once you take this, it is like the Matrix. Once you know about manifesting, you can't unknow it. And once you've seen success in it, you really can't unknow it. So you're spiraling down this whole time, knowing that it's your fault. You're doing it. All the good and the bad that happened in your life are because of your thoughts first creating it. So let me have another. Oh, thank you, Courtney. Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. That what I was saying, to do a little chat rooms here and there on there. And also, thank you for still being a channel subscriber. I appreciate it. I know I've been posting much, so I appreciate you, Courtney. Feeling great about my daily affirming. I know my persistence will pay off. Regardless of how things look, I know I'll have both SPs one day, and I'll share my story on their channels. That's awesome, brother. See, that's the mindset you need to have. Because even the negative things, some of the negative things that I was thinking, they didn't play out right away. Like everything was like preventing them from playing out. And it's like, nope, I know. And I'm persisting and knowing that I'm persisting in the negative, and it played out. Things will unravel. When I was expecting bad things to happen in my relationship, they played out exactly. The bad things and the fears I had and things I vocalized and things I complained about, they all played out. Whether it was a relationship or dealing with the boss or dealing with a coworker or dealing with a job situation or dealing with any circumstance in life, the more I bitched about it in a negative way, it came true exactly that way, or close enough to feel that feeling of how it would feel if it happened that way I was saying. Vice versa, when I've done it positively, it's happened that way. So I'm here to remind you, I'm here to tell you that no matter how bad it gets, I have been down the darkest. This is not like really one of my darkest. It's more of like, it was almost like letting myself willfully go into this negative experiment and let it serve as a reminder, but also coupled with heavy, not depression, but heavy laziness. You are awesome, Nick. I will always be a subscriber and supporter of what you're doing. Well, thank you, Courtney. I appreciate you. Everything you're talking about is exactly the place that I was when I found you, and I have turned it around. And I know you can and will always be here to support you. Well, thank you, Courtney. And I'm here for you guys as well. I know I'm not always on here, but that's where the old videos are. I wanted to start, I was feeling pulled. This is the thing. Here's how you know it's inspired action. When you are pulled for multiple days or weeks or months to, I have to do this. I have to do this. You know what to do, but I wasn't even fully prepped to go on this right now. I just turned it on and went. It's like, there's no better time than the present. That's all we really have is the present. Turn it on and go. And you can watch as many things to inspire you and motivate you. It's like when you can't shake that feeling and you know it's not an anxiety and you know it's not, I'm not like, here, I'll bring it back because I think the specific person is always the best example for everything. It's where I learned. It was my training ground in manifesting. So it's a great way to go. So it's like you're like with fuck, I lost my train of thought. Never mind. Give me a second to think. I lost it. It'll come back. But I guess the point I was trying to make was like, oh yeah. Why are you doing a certain thing too? It's like, why are you here? This because a specific person was my training ground. That's what I was saying, right? Why am I texting this person first? Everyone's like, oh, they didn't text me first. My experience, I've text first, she's text first while manifesting her. So it's like sometime it was half the time, 2 of the time out of the 6 times, 2 times it was her, 2 times it was me, 2 times it was crazy circumstances that brought us together. You don't have to know how, you don't have to know when, and you can't know how and when. You just have to know what's going to happen. And for me, when I reached out, there were plenty of times I reached out and got nothing because I was expecting nothing. I'm reaching out because I think it's what I need to do, and I'm anxious. The anxiety and the knowing that it's what you need to do are two very confusing emotions. But the anxiety could be quelled and put down over a period when you delay it, where it's like, okay, you find a way to get control of yourself. You go out, you go watch a movie, you hang out with a friend, you go to the gym, you do a passion, you hobby, you write, whatever, or you do a manifesting technique and you forget about it and you can put it away. And there's no urge tomorrow. Then it's not the right move to make. And if you're doing it and you really ask yourself, why am I doing this? It's because I need a response. It's probably going to be getting more of need. So whatever you want, it's going to be rejected or shot down so you can have that desire of need. So that's in the specific person realm. It's the same thing with any other endeavor of life. When I couldn't shake the feeling of I need to go talk to her, and it's like I put it off for 3-4 days, and finally that feeling is still there, it was the right move to make. When I was watching these Tom Platz videos and visualizing, talking with them and stuff, all of a sudden that bodybuilding thing came up, and it was my passion to go there, and I haven't done it, and I would have a chest injury that I thought was deforming and crippling, and I'll never make it there, and I only got this many weeks to travel. Whatever it was made me stand out and it was the right place at the right time, and I followed a passion to get there. Same thing with the channel. I kept, after manifesting her back, something just kept saying, make a channel, make a channel, make a channel. I couldn't shake it. It's like, I'll make a couple videos and put them there through Reddit. And if Reddit takes them down, they take them down, which they did. I'll, manifest what I need to manifest. I manifested what I need to manifest. If my videos help someone, they help somebody. And then through that, it's like through following that passion, Inked and Mitzi and everybody who was here in the beginning, reaching out to me and saying, keep the channel around, keep the channel around. And then just following that passion and that bliss that came with that led me to where I am now. So when you can't shake something, that's the inspired action. Whether it's a specific person starting a channel, whatever, that's what it is. So it's like right now, it was hard, very hard to make some videos and lives because I was forcing myself to do it. It felt uncomfortable. It felt unnatural because it's like, I need to do this because you need to keep the views up and that's not how this channel became successful in the first place. It was doing what I like to do and following a passion. So it's like when the moment struck, which was the past 2 nights, I put it off. Let's see, when did Lily go out of town? 2 nights ago, maybe? Yeah, whatever night she left, it was like, oh, I should go live, but I'm tired. And then it's like the next time it's like, okay, I'm with my brother and I could go live. I'm like, well, I've also been feeling guilty about not being a good enough brother and stuff. So I chose that. That was the highest passion at that moment. So that was the right choice. Today, I kept saying all day, I'm going to have time to do everything. I'm going to work out in the middle of the fucking night and then go to work. Like, I'm not going to sleep tonight. We're going to do this. And I'm going to film videos. Like, they're on the fucking whiteboard and I walk past them every day. I feel the inspired action to write them or to make them right now. So I'm going to make those today. And I was going to do this and I did this today. And I want to start doing more lives throughout the week. I want to put them on TikTok too. I want to do the members only one. And even if it's just Courtney on there, like she's the only member on here, I appreciate you and love you for that. Then we'll just do those ones. If you're on the Discord, we're going to do the little chat rooms. It's like, I'm going to show up because it feels good and feels passionate to do it. Seeing yourself as this coach, what comes with it? What is entailed? What are the benefits you could become from this? It's like, you could travel the world meeting all these people you've helped and hearing their stories, documenting it, and passing on the knowledge that helped you so much in your life, becoming the next generation of helping people becomes the highest passion. And it doesn't mean you have to kill off the bodybuilding and other stuff. If you still want to do comedy and people don't want to watch you because maybe they don't like some of the jokes you're making or whatever, and they don't realize it's jokes, and they don't like the skits, or they think you're weird or whatever, and they don't want to watch your manifesting, there's a million other channels out there. Bashar says this, and this was something I saw the other day that clicked for me. Those who need to hear your message will hear it, and they will be and those who stick around are the right audience for you. If they don't like it, they were never meant to be there anyway. That was not your audience. And I'm like, well, that's perfect. So when I started changing my mindset, the right videos that I needed to hear, the right people I needed to talk to, the right circumstances all popped up. So That's about it. I mean, I think I'm about done rambling. I've made 50 minutes of rambling. Hey, instead of OnlyFans, it's OnlyFan. I love it. That's awesome. Yeah, that was hey, there was a passion for a minute, a couple times in my life. I always had this agreement with myself. If you didn't make it as an actor, you had to go become a male stripper because when I was 17, I met a male stripper and that guy fucking pulled out a wad of cash like that. Then OnlyFans came around after that, and I was like, all right, if none of this works out, then I see that dude two-turn Tony. But then I'm like, I got to remember, I might be Italian, but I'm also half Irish. So that joke goes over some people's heads too. If you know, you know. But anyway, we got this more laid back, chilled out session. And I brought us back out to the front room. I got success stories. Well, I can't wait to hear them. Send them over whenever you get a chance. I'll listen to tell you. Yeah, if you know me and you're like people who are in regular contact with me or regular clients and stuff like that, you know that I've been distant because at the same time, like I said, that's the one thing you're not going to find with me. It's like I will promote my coaching, I will sell coaching, I will do stuff like that. But if I'm not mentally prepared, it's like I'm not going to accept the session, or if it's like a contradictory thing or something goes against my moral values, here's your money back. We ain't doing this. I'm not going to be, I have not been, and I'm not going to be someone who is going to be money hungry that needs to be like, oh, we got to do the session. I don't like being fake and phony like that. I will rather work doing something I hate for the rest of my life than be a phony sellout. So at the same time, that was something I always struggle with. Well, then why do you sell the coaching? It's like, because it's my time, and it does get stressful, being a coach, because especially I think I don't know how other coaches are. I've talked to some of them. I've worked with some of them when I was learning. You could be taking on if you actually care about the people like I do. You take on their stuff. I do think about all the clients I've had and have now and will have. It's like it's always on my mind. I'll be, Lily will see me sometimes in meditation or my family. It's like while I go through like anxiety or stopping a panic attack, people's stories go through and it's like I'm doing sets. Somebody else's story will come in. I'll get a vision for them and I'll visualize for them and stuff like that. So it gets, you're taking on that burden. So I do charge for my shit. And it's like, I always felt guilty about that. But by not, that's another thing, not accepting gifts and, not charging for the coaching or whatever. Those are signs that I have, but a lot of people have it too. It is humble, one, but at the same time too, it could be less than humble. It's you don't value yourself enough to believe you deserve it. That's where that awkwardness comes in, and like somebody bought you a gift. It could be fucking McDonald's burger that costs like, well, I don't know, McDonald's kind of went up in prices, but I haven't been there in a long time. But Lily bought it the other day for me, and I was like, holy shit, those are McDonald's prices. Thanks, Joe Biden. But so long story short, it's like someone could give you something small, but you don't want to accept it, and you feel guilty because it's like, oh, that's subconscious saying I don't deserve this. If somebody wants to give you something or somebody wants to support you, accept it. Like my friend Pirate donating today in the chat. I appreciate him. I don't know if you're still here, brother, but and I haven't been the best friend. I've been distant. So he comes in here and supports me like that. So Pirate, if you're here, you're getting a good housewarming gift when we have that party. Hey, sex work is still work, no shame. I mean, hey, if no shame until people see what I'm working with. Negative self-concept joke, don't make them. How do you know when you should let go of SP, stop manifesting them? I know at some point in your journey you stopped with your initial SP. Any advice? Yeah, that's a hard one for me to say. Like, even if like I have a client, I've been asked this before, should I stop? The choice is yours at the end of the day. Is it worth proving to yourself that yes, this one specific person is worth it? And the question I always ask, because so many people are like, I want this person or nobody. And Neville talks about this. So this always goes back throughout the ages, right? That people want one specific person. And I get it. You're hooked on that person. It's an adrenaline rush. There's a whole psychological thing to it. How do you decide? How did I decide? I was chasing, and we all are, a feeling. That person is a catalyst to create the feeling, but ultimately you're the one who creates the feeling. That feeling of goodness comes from inside you, and you've assigned the value now that it's that person giving you the feeling. You give yourself the feeling. That's how when you're manifesting them, you're having the feeling first before it happens. And why does it work? I don't know. This is just the gift that God gave us to change things that we don't like in life. Where if you go to sleep visualizing that you're sleeping with your SP every night, or you're doing sets, or you're affirming, whatever, it has no choice but to arrive. Oftentimes people are like, even that mentality, should I just give up or whatever? That's a mentality of like, I'm having doubts, it's taking too long. Is this person worth, and I made this agreement with myself when it came to Lily, but the initial SP, I guess she really wasn't worth that to me, because when it came to the thing with Lily, I remember having like this panic attack and mom trying to learn all this stuff, saying, I don't care if it takes 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, or forever. I will wait. This is the person I want. And, and then sometimes you get the person too, and it's like, you'll go through doubts like, oh, do I really want this? And then that leads to, then they'll start feeling the same way. It is just crazy. Whatever you're feeling, they're feeling. Whatever you assume they're feeling or thinking they are. And like, so whatever I was thinking, she was reflecting, and then it's feeding me more to not want to be there, or vice versa. If I want to be with her, she's showing up and giving me more reason to want to be with her. So then I start thinking more, and then that reels them in. So it's literally, that's just how it works. But why do you want that person? Write down, here's a way to like figure it out. Write down what makes that person so special to you. Is it the memories? Is it just because it's their looks? Do you not believe you can get anyone else? I always say it's like, if you're stuck in between. I scripted out the quote unquote perfect SP, where it's like pretty much exactly Lily, but then attributes that sometimes I wish Lily had. That woman would appear, and then at the same time, shortly after, Lily appears too into my reality, and she had taken on characteristics of what I would have wanted and become that person. So everything unfolds naturally. That's what, like, they say there's infinite parallel timelines. You just shift into the one where this person, it's just natural for that person to be like that now. So really you have to ask yourself, do you want happiness and to be loved and to feel a certain way, or do you want that specific person? And are you content and willing to wait as long as it takes? Are you willing to be disciplined and go through all this stuff and the pain and the suffering and take the breadcrumbs for a little bit? Not saying you have to take the breadcrumbs, but are you willing to sit there and put up with this? Like, there, it gets ugly. I'm not gonna lie. I've been on the journey, and it's been a long journey. You gotta you don't have to. This is limit. I'm saying it as a limiting belief, but it's what I went through. And I've seen other people go through it, but not everybody goes through it. But for me, somebody who's a heavy doubter, not now, but before, a realist, a doubter, and not believing all this stuff, I'm going through. You're taking the lumps. You're feeling it. You're like, what, am I fucking insane? This person's an asshole. And then they act more and more like that. And then you get so burned out, and you're like just dwelling on the good memories with them, because it's just like the only thing that kind of relaxes you. Then they start acting like that again. So whatever your thoughts are, that's what it's going to become. Most of the time, people on this journey they just want to be happy in a relationship with someone who fits a certain parameter, and they're just as happy. I have had multiple clients who went to new people. I could have had that opportunity 2 or 3 times that arose. I just felt, I'm like, you know what? There's a reason I kept sticking out with this person. I'm going to stay with her. Man, that's how you know the answer was winded. Cigar died. My friend told me about the law, and I was able to manifest him back within a week. Only I wasn't happy with how he came in. So I didn't know if I wanted to spend time revising him or just moving on. And he said, yeah, yeah. So that's the thing. Is that person worth it? You proved the law to yourself. Now, if you want to get interesting with it, write down the perfect specific person. What do you want? Why do you want it? How does that feel? Fall asleep with this mystery guy every night, and whatever you want, put that on and then try that. What's the worst that can happen? You get it and you enjoy it. Are you holding yourself back because you think, no, I owe it to myself to prove the law? Okay, you proved it. And here's what people had to tell me too when it came to the stuff with Lily. It's like, you proved the law. You can let go now. And it's like, you proved the law, you can let go now. Because like when we went through the whole thing, like a few of the times where it's like, okay, we broke up again. And I was like, now I got to go back and figure out where my thoughts went wrong. Figure out where my thoughts went wrong. Okay, there it is. I was thinking this and this and this. She was saying this and this and this. Wow, that corresponded. So everything I was, okay, now I'm still in the, it's a game. It's like, I want to win the game. And then it's like, but the game is always against me. The game is always against you. You're playing against yourself. Can you keep your thoughts in the game supporting yourself? Or do you let the other team, the negative thoughts, hijack you and take over? I'm kind of there right now. While I'm working on my Santa Claus SP, I got a much better, more appropriate SP, and now I am torn about whether I should keep manifesting Santa SP. Well, yeah, Cordy, that's the thing. It's like, it's a hard choice to make at times, but then it's like, if you're really enjoying, what is your highest passion right now? Sit alone in a moment of meditation or many moments of meditation and just think and feel, what what do I gain from this? Make even a pro and con column. I've done that before too to make a decision. And it's like, what does your heart say? What does only you know? I will never tell you, yep, that's the person to go with. I will have my opinion on it, what I think. And sometimes I will give my opinion if you ask enough. But I would prefer you make the decision, because then it could always come back. Well, you told me and now I'm unhappy. No, you made that decision. That's what I want you to do. Because at the end of the day, I'm here to guide you to where you need to go. It is your job to become the captain of that ship. I'm the guy who gives you the map. I'm the guy who you could call in and get directions from, and how to run the ship and where and navigate it to a certain point. But it's your job to come up with the destination. It's your job to come up with what that destination looks like and how the ship is run in the meantime. I'm just there to guide you on that process and to reassure you that it's all going right. It's like, am I still on the right course? Well, where are you going? Give me blah, blah, blah. What are you doing? Yep, that's right. You're still on the right course. During your journey, did you ever question if it was just your ego, or did you think it was genuine soul desire? Did that ever cross your mind? Yeah, that crossed my mind a lot. It, you know, on on that, some of the stuff that led to like the fracturing a little bit of the relationship and some negative old stories playing out. Nothing bad, but like arguments kind of that came up when I was doing the bodybuilding show and I was tired and I was on that low carb and I'm trying to maintain muscle. I'm doing all this stuff. I was doing the David Goggins method. I was pulling from the negative experiences I had, and a lot of it came from stuff with SP and pain and like third parties and stuff like that, and just anger. And I was 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours at night. What am I doing? My thoughts are anger, and this relationship is broken, and this was my ego, and blah blah. And I'm at it all day. I reminded myself of every negative thing she said. I remember the blocking. I remember the third party. I remember their names. And I'm mad. And I'm fucking no energy, no food in my system really, on pre-workout and just water and barely the food that I'm just trying to burn through to put myself in a caloric deficit. And I'm banging the weights. Kill me, like the Tom Platz video. And I'm just destroying myself. Those conversations had come up in one way or another again, which we had worked on and we had forgive and forget, but I brought it up to memory, and then so it's no longer forgotten. It's now that it's a memory and I'm remembering it, I'm bringing a negative to the future, and then I'm sitting there and just again and again angry about it, and then it's like now you're not really forgiving, so it removes the forgiveness. Now it's causing fights, so it's like I had rebrought, and then it's like, was this all my ego? That's the whole thing it went down to. It's like, so even now, it's like sometimes I question, was it my ego that did it? You said soul connection and people talk about soulmates and stuff. I don't know my opinion on that really. I mean, I believe that we have contracts, and I've thought about this a lot. What is my contract with SP? What did we decide coming here? Was it to be a lesson? Was it to be a permanent thing? Was it to teach me to drop my ego? Was it to teach me something so I could teach other people and then move on from it? Was it to realize that maybe you shouldn't manifest SPs who you've broken up with and go back? Is it to prove that unconditional love? That all those thoughts have gone through my head before. So that's why I always give that to everyone else. It's like if you haven't been able to tell, I'm an overthinker. I think a lot and I philosophize a lot and I study all this stuff a lot. At the end of the day, whatever I assign the meaning to that specific thing goes right back down to that. If I believe I'm doing it out of ego, then that's what I was doing. If I believe that I'm doing this to learn unconditional love, and that's the contract that me and Lily signed up for before we came to this life, that we signed up that she's going to go through this and this and this and come into this world 16 years before me, and then I'm going to go through life and I'm going to go through this and this and this, and that this on this day we're going to meet up, and like there's one alternative timeline that could have happened, and it did, and this is the one that we played out. Okay, if that's what I believe it is, that's what it is. So at the end of the day, I'm a firm believer in whatever you feel that it is, that's what it is. And that's why, I got this. This was a learning lesson from Bashar. Your passion is where you need to follow. And if your passion is that SP, that's what you need. I don't believe in soulmates either, LOL, but I do believe sometimes things are ego desires and some things are soul level desires. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, for me, that soul level desire to do that bodybuilding competition, it came from I had to fail at it as a young man and get injured and go through all this stuff and just have a bunch of failures to have that passion lit in me that I'm going to fucking destroy myself in the gym. I'm going to go in the cookie jar of my mind, as Goggins calls it, and pull out every ugly thing and do battle with it for purposely for 2 hours every morning and 2 hours every night and sit through 2 hours of traffic, getting angry and getting ready for the gym and using all that. I had to, it brought me to the point where I was contending with all that stuff, and but that was my desire. My desire was to do that competition, and every good thing that I thought was going to happen there happened, and other unforeseen good things came out of it. So there's a lot of, you know, like that's why I said when you can't shake a feeling and it just makes you feel good when you think about it and excited when you think about it, that's your passion, that's your soul. If it's a person, I mean, the thing was, it's like if I would have if those things were really that painful for me and I was like reminding myself of it so much, I would have just walked away. It's like we would just went to California alone and did the competition and came back home and then came back single and manifested a new SP or whatever. I would have done that. But then it's like every time you would think about what you had manifested or the good times and stuff like that, that lit my soul on fire. Thinking about how things could improve, thinking about everything we've worked through together, that made me feel really good. That made me feel like, okay, this is what I want. But, at the same time, we're always going to go through, I think, especially when you're in a relationship based on like where you had to go through all these things you went through, it makes your relationship very strong. But there's still a lot of, we remember that timeline of the bad shit that happened. We remember that ugly version. So if we let that ugly version exist in our mind, it has no chance, no choice but to push out into reality now. I think we have soulmates, but again, it's us writing a script. And even from a spiritual woo-woo standpoint, we have many soulmates, and they can be in form of relationships or family or friends. Yeah, I believe that too, Courtney. Where it's like you have, like that's where I believe like that soul family or the contracts and stuff like that. That's just I guess the way I would go with it. It would be like we all made these agreements, but then if there's infinite timelines, the souls are playing out this one happy relationship that went through all these things. But then there's one where it's like we didn't even get past the first breakup. It's just like, hey, cool, hooking up with you. I didn't catch feelings and you didn't catch feelings. Or there's one where she caught the feelings and I didn't catch the feelings. And then maybe she was the one who learned that if there's infinite parallel realities, and all time is happening now. That's why when Neville says creation is finished, every possibility of whatever can happen. When they talk about reincarnation and stuff, that's happening now. Your past life and your future lives are happening now. You're just happening like when you experience it now. All we have is the present moment. All they have is the present moment. This life is a series of we experience it linearly, so it makes sense to a human mind. But there's so many different things happening. That's when they say creation is finished. All these things have already happened. You're just choosing the one that you want. And I think that's a very powerful thing to accept, permission slip to give yourself, because it makes anything feel possible. We're all soulmates. We're all connected. Exactly. Yes, Brooke. That's where it comes from. We're all one. So it's like no matter how bad somebody fucks up, and this is the hardest thing though, because there are certain people who are fucking horrible, horrible human beings. So it's like learning unconditional love and to love and not be attached to it. Like you hear some shit that people do like on the news and say, no, that's not me. If we're all one and we all came from God, and it's like at the end of the day, we're all one source. The all is, what is it that Bashar says? The all is the one and the one is the all. What does that translate to? What did Neville come up with? Everyone is you pushed out. What have I experienced? Everyone is you pushed out. We get treated and we experience and we see things that we expect to see, feel, and experience. Me and that man are married, and everyone, I'm just going to be delusional that way. I mean, that's the whole thing. It's like that. I don't like the thing when people are like, "Oh, I'm delusional," though. I think Tone at Goaded says this too. We didn't talk about it that much, but it's like when you're saying delusional too, I think there's a negative connotation. At least to me, it feels that way. And I can't remember if he talked about this too, but I remember him talking about the delusional thing one time. I can't remember if we did it when we talked about it in the podcast, if that was one of the topics. But for me, it's like I don't want to have anything that sounds negative in my vocabulary. And it's like you got to be careful with self-deprecating jokes and stuff like that. You're not delusional. You're deliberately choosing a new reality. Not delusional, deliberately choosing a new reality that already exists. The Lulu, only in the Sulu. Bashar said something about how some opportunities you can't even see until your perspective shifts, and that's something that sucks with me. Well, don't look at it as a sucking. You should look at it as something to be excited about. That you're excited that this is going to unfold in a way that you can't even imagine. It's like, I know some people don't like surprise birthday parties, but surprise birthday party, there's so much more stuff that goes to it, right? Or, sometimes you can't see it until, until it unfolds. I'm looking right now. I got this big ass chessboard that Lily's dad gave me, and I was playing chess with my brother earlier. There were so many moves. It's like I'm looking ahead. I'm analyzing the whole board. I'm trying. My brother's a good chess player. He's better than me. He's whooping my ass, and it's like I'm trying hard to win, and I couldn't. I see every move. Then he's making moves I can't see. When I relaxed and I stopped giving a shit, and I'm just like, I'm gonna play to play. And I'm just having fun. That hey, I'm here with my brother. I'm enjoying the present moment. I'm enjoying each move I make, not being too attached to it. Still trying to calculate them and do the best I can. I won one of the matches, and the match where I started doing that won it in 3 moves, 3 to 5 moves or something like that. And this is a superior chess player, but I couldn't see those if I was too in the board. That saying I always talk about. You're so lost in the trees you can't see the forest. So lost on the chessboard. You're so lost in the 3D reality that you can't see the next opportunity. I'm staring at the board, saying, "Okay, I'm going to figure out what's going on." I can't figure it out because I can't see it because I'm so invested in it's probably this one. It's probably this one. This is probably the move. This is probably the move. And I'm trying to map out everything. When you relax and let it go, you start crushing it. Like I went on a little winning streak there. I think he said something along the lines of sometimes your 3D does instantly change, but even being able to recognize a different perspective means something she already has changed, even on a subtle level. Sorry for spamming the chat a little. No, you're good. You can keep spamming the chat. We don't have a ton of people in here right now. Run the chat if you want. You give me more reasons to keep talking. I still got a lot of cigar left. Sorry, I'm trying to think what I was going to say. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could change instantly too. Manifestation is instant. It's like how much can you sell yourself on the idea? Did I doubt throughout the entire process of it for a long time? Yeah, people used to ask me when I first started the channel, even for the first year, which there still wound up being a breakup to that. And like I didn't want the channel to be known as, oh, this is the SP guy. I want to show people anything's possible. That's why I did the bodybuilding competition. That's why I want to get my comedy stuff running again. And all that stuff caused anxiety. Trying to do too many things at once, spread yourself too thin. You're mentally burned out, and then you're just bothered by everything, right? So that's a little bit off topic, but I wanted to show that I could, anything's possible, not just this. But sorry, I lost my train of thought again. But yeah, it does change instantly, and your job is to change instantly too. Sometimes it's the thing you could change. You're good in the morning, then as night comes around, then that's the hard time. Okay, pick it up. Try to turn it around at nighttime, right when you go to sleep, right when you wake up. Most important, powerful times to manifest. Those are the best times. That's why Reverend Ike used to run his stuff late at night. That's why Neville did lectures at nighttime. You want those positive thoughts as you're going to sleep. Watch a couple manifesting videos. Then don't just, oh, I watched the video, so I'm going to get it. Apply what was said because it worked for me. It worked for all these other people. It works if you work it, as they say. I'm teaching my SP about everyone as you pushed out. It's fun to teach him, and it helps make it more real for me. Exactly. I do. I'm a firm believer in teaching makes you a better student in a way, because sometimes I'll have to go back and remind myself of stuff. I've been going back remembering. I didn't watch any of them. I do hate. I've hated it since acting and filmmaking to rewatch myself on camera. That's why I like this channel, because I one and done, or live stream. I don't look at the shit again. Editing it's a bitch. That's why I'm thankful I've got Gary around and he helps me with a lot of stuff. We just haven't really got together on any projects lately. I think it's hard when you're in comedy with your I think it's hard when you're in comedy with your SP and they're supposed to be reflecting your revision. To be honest, you helped me manifest my SP back. Well, thank you, Brooke. Now that means a lot. That comment right there, helping you manifest your SP back. So I appreciate you telling me that. Boosted my confidence. I found your channel, and that's what led me to getting. And that's what led me to getting how this works, because you don't sell some fairy tale stories. It was real. And then contact. Uh, contact. Oh, my bad. Um, contact, not comedy. I was like, wait, what does the comedy have to do with it? Yeah, no, that makes me happy that. Okay, so there's a success story right there. You manifested your SP back from watching the channel. That was something I needed to hear. So thank you for validating and giving me more motivation. I came out here saying I'm going to get a success story. Mitzi's not on here right now, but I want to thank Mitzi because usually on a Sunday or a Monday, she sends me, and Inked as well. Both of them will usually send me like a weekly update about how something I've taught them helps them. And it's usually at a time where I'm like, I'm not feeling it. And sometimes a couple weeks will go by and we won't say nothing. And then they'll hit me up, and it's a time where maybe I'm going into some self doubt on like, what am I doing? How can I be a better teacher? Am I disconnected from the audience? And then it's like, nope, here's people from the audience who are your friends who come forward and said, boom, here's how it worked. So I thank them for giving me my constant reminders, and I thank you, Brooke, as well, and Courtney as well. She always sends me updates. I think I'm out of things to say. If you guys want to drive this, we got lean back for a second. Still got to get those other videos made and some working out done. Yeah, the time. Oh yeah, second. Yeah, the time of the time of date thing is really important at my SP, and now I set aside half an hour every single night and have prayer and manifestation time. See, that's awesome. Yeah, I like that. Time of day for me. Oh yeah, yeah. Time of day for manifesting is the best. Yeah, you want to set aside that time. Like lately, I've been without the morning workouts. I drag ass waking up. I have to leave my house at 6:45 to get there by 7:50. The ride, the ride is fucking wild. I'm not gonna lie about that. There have been times where it's just like I have an easy ride. I have an easy ride, and I'll go through periods like where everything's good, but then I'll start complaining to people, even though the ride's been good, and like all of a sudden it seems like reality's changed. I'll start bitching because it's a self pity thing that kind of makes you feel good. Like, yeah, I gotta drive an hour and a half there, hour and a half back. Something happens, a crash or this or whatever. Now it's a fucking hour and a half there. So anyway, long story short, I'm waking up at 6:35, 6:40, and I got to leave in 5 minutes. So I get up and throw my clothes on, throw the cat some food and water, and get the fuck out. Like, and I go right there. No time for meditating, no time for Sanson, no time for gratitude, no time for nothing. I wake up, I'm checking my phone, turn off the alarms. While you're turning off the alarms, you see this, and then trying to motivate yourself to get out of bed instead of doing all that. Flip through TikTok or Instagram real quick. Pop, 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 pop. Okay, cool. Here's some stuff. Here's some messages from people. Maybe that thing was negative, whatever. I'm not even thinking. I'm just going through. I'm a robot. Go in there, get in the car, and it's like, what do you put on in the car? It's the music. Is it positive music? Is it negative music? I've been listening to a lot of movie soundtracks. As you guys know, I love my movie soundtracks. I've been listening to more depressing ones that I used when I didn't really use the law and I loved my self pity. So it's like, what are you fueling yourself with? Be aware. That's why I said you have to watch your mind. Even somebody like me who's been doing this a long time and understands all of it could still fall into, look at this would have lasted me maybe, I don't know, 10 weeks to 2 months, whatever, 3 months before, when I'm learning all this stuff of like just time of battling. I'm back up and running within 3 weeks. Any tips on how to revise them or how to bring forward a parallel reality of them that's more ideal? I know this works because my SP said things exactly how I imagined in sets. Um, what's it called? And then Courtney said congrats and then thank you. What was I going to say? I know it works because, oh yeah, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, they will come back and they will parrot everything that you said. And the biggest thing, Brooke, is what do you call it? Persistence. And I know it's cliche and it sounds like a lazy answer that, oh, just persist and it just persists. I'm not going to ever be that coach who'll tell you that because I know it's a fucking pain in the ass to fucking sit there and persist when you're getting slapped in the face with the opposite. So the biggest thing on revision for me, and you, if you've been watching the channel for a while, you know I'm not big on revision. I have some revision success stories. It's a difficult one for me. I mean, the whole process feels unnatural, but manifesting is what we automatically do. Neville even calls it the illegal practice and stuff of what do you call it, of using revision, because it just feels like you're changing things. If you want to think about this, where this is the best way I could change for changing an SP. Where attention goes, energy flows. My SP was a completely changed person multiple times. The ideal woman that I wanted. The more I dug up the bad things that happened and felt the hurt from them and focused on them and went back, and if I, oh man, at that time I should have said this. I should have fucking said that. And she deserved to be talked to like this, and I didn't. And I'm back down, and I'm a bitch. And the more you go through that, where is your attention? On a past event of a past version of them or a different parallel version of them that you don't want. And where are you? You're in the present, but you're existing there. Because think about it, your jaw is clenched, your fist is tight, and your head is hot because you're mad, or your heart is heavy, your gut is twisted because you're heartbroken and you're sad. Think about this too. Here's another one that came up. I was thinking about, in this time of pulling these negative memories, I was thinking about people that I didn't like and stuff like that while I was training. Um, and like how I got snaked by some people and stuff like that. And those people showed up in my reality at the fucking gym that I hadn't seen in 3-4 years. They showed up at the guy showed up at the gym. Two of them at two different gyms showed up that I fucking couldn't stand. And then I was like, I had to, bless them in my mind, go forward, whatever. And then I stopped giving attention. I haven't seen them at the gym, and I go at the same time, and they were showing up multiple times around those times, and then just stopped showing up. You could just be like, oh, they don't want to see you anymore. That's why they went. But when where attention goes, energy flows. So if you're living the present moment, which is all you can live, the past is dead. Let the dead bury the dead, as they say in the Bible. You're reviving the dead, which is that old story. You're focusing on it, and you're doing that. Persisting in the person that you want is where you need to go. My SP goes to bed at 9, so we do manifesting at 8:30. Hey, so does my SP, and that's when we usually talk about it too. And then gets up for work at 4 a.m., sends me a long ass manifesting text to wake up to. It's super perfect. Obviously, I'm a night owl. Yeah, that's same here. What, trying to pour old wine into new bottles? LOL. Exactly. All you're doing is you're like, think about it. Yeah, even if you want to, and I use this example because it's funny, but it's true. I'm assuming women have the same thing. But for guys, it's like, okay, what's remote seduction, right? We talk about remote seduction. You're going forward to an event, and I've had this before. I was a young boy, a little bit of an experience with women when I met my SP, right? Um, she's older than me, so you're gonna learn some things, right, with them cougars. So remote seduction, there was stuff we had never done before, but I start thinking of my fantasies now, and I'm using it. It's like, let me play around with this fucking method that I heard about. So when I heard about it, and I'm thinking, let's manifest, let's remote seduce her, and I'm doing those sat sessions or those remote seduction sessions or whatever, I'm bricked up. It's like, what the fuck? There's nobody here. I'm doing it while I'm driving to work. I'm driving to work. And then it's like, oh fuck, I'm running late and I can't get out of the car right now. I'm like, what the hell? Like, but there's no woman in the car with you. Nobody's touched you. That you went in your imagination and it had a physical response, just like going back and fighting with someone or visualizing a fight with a boss that plays out exactly word for word. Your body is in that same state of like, your physiology changes when you're fantasizing about these things. So you want a better version of that person, put your energy and your attention onto that version that you want to experience. I like deep revision. I did the childhood trauma revision and saw major changes. I think that was a best bang for the buck. Best use of time was to go to the root of the emotional issue. Yeah, Courtney, I do believe that could be beneficial. Personally, I've never done it. As I don't like revision naturally already. It's really difficult for me. So going all the way back, I would also, and I also don't like it because, that cliche question of, you know, would you rather go back in time with all the knowledge you have and stuff like that, or would you rather just have the $1,000,000 now, or whatever the hypothetical question is, right? Would you rather go back in time? I don't like changing my past because my past made me who I am. I would prefer that that thing did happen because it made me the man who I am. Because without that, I wouldn't have learned this and that and whatever. And yeah, you still keep, obviously, you keep the knowledge anyway when you do it, but it's like, and if it is something that's really bothering you and traumatic, yeah, go back and change it. If it makes you feel good, if that's your passion and it makes you feel good, then yes, by all means do it. But for me, it's just not me. But everybody's different. It's like if I was going to train somebody in the gym, I'm going to figure out what their body responds to, and we're going to go with that. If I'm going to coach you as a manifesting coach, I'm going to find out what techniques you've been fucking around with and that work for you, or I'm going to find the ones that you've been doing and you keep saying there's no results, and we're going to cut those out and we're going to use, and I'm going to say, try these with the ones you've been doing and do that until come back to me and let me know. I've been manifesting to go on a trip SP this weekend. He hasn't said yes or no. I've continued to feel like we will go. Is there anything else I could focus on? Right now, okay, and let me give you a permission slip or a motivational thing, which is a story from me. Let me have the cigar a little bit and then I'll tell you the story. So let's go back to last year, right? Major embarrassment and stuff like that. I felt horrible as a coach and stuff like that because all the negative old stories I couldn't let go of. There wound up being a breakup last summer. Um, and you guys who've been around the channel, you've seen that. We were apart or whatever, and we were talking again, and it was like after like that was like the final one where I knew this was going to be the relationship after this, but I was still not sure if that's what I wanted. I was like, did I do this again out of ego? What the fuck? Because that was the one where I felt inspired to actually go back with her and stuff. Halloween is one of my favorite holidays. I love it because I had like a bond with my grandma over it. It was always great times with my friends. I love Halloween time because I love acting and it's like you're pretending to be something else and it's just a fun time and like that type. I love football. I played football all my life, so it's like that fall season. It's just a really nice time, and just the ambience of it all. It's a great time. I had only the first. Well, there's a time crunch on two Halloweens. Um, No, this other one wasn't Halloween, but it was around Halloween time this past year. But the first time I manifested SP back in a really big way was on a Halloween time. I said I was going to spend Halloween with her. I was blocked, no contact, all this stuff, and all I was doing was like I'm doubting the stuff. I'm going back and forth, and it was September, right after her birthday. She blocked me and went back with her ex, and I was like, "Fuck, this is stupid." But you know what? I'm just curious if this stuff works. It's just whatever. We were fucking around, friends with benefits. I had caught feelings, and I took her to Wisconsin Dells for her birthday. I had this feeling she was going to block me and end it right after we came back from Wisconsin Dells. Sure enough, that happens. Okay, cool. Well, that just proved manifesting to me too. Well, I wonder if okay, let me try a timeline crunch. I wasn't a coach. I wasn't trying to prove anything to anyone but myself. I go, second week of September, this starts. I'll relate this in a second. Second week of September, this starts. I'm like, okay, I have, so now, so there, I got 7 weeks. It's crazy too, because I had 7 weeks before my bodybuilding show too. I'm like, I got 7 weeks to make something happen. I get unblocked. I had talked to Akshay too around this time because I was still trying to learn. I'm going watching channels and shit. And it was just like, I just sent him an email and he was kind enough to reply, which is a quick little tidbit of motivation and stuff like that. So I'm like, cool. Next thing you know, I'm doing everything right. I just believed I'm doing everything right. I'm like, I know she'll be back by Halloween. And this is my thought process. But throughout the whole thing, I'm wavering, stuff like that. I get unblocked like a week and a half. Oh, a little bit before, not even a week and a half. Maybe 8 days before Halloween, 9 days before Halloween. Get unblocked on Instagram. She responds to a message. I'm like, I'm going to make her wait 3 days. Now that's me trying to manipulate the 3D. I go to finally respond 3 days later, and I'm bragging, this is going to work. I'm blocked again. I'm like, fuck. And then I look, she didn't block me on Facebook. And I was like, hey, I've been away from my phone. I meant to reply to you, whatever. I found that out 2 days later after a guy text Akshay. I'm like, what the fuck? I fucked up. I thought I couldn't fuck this. This word, you can't fuck this up, comes into play. So it was, I found her on Facebook, whatever, and I was like, the thought came to me while I was meditating. I'm like, I don't know what to do, but I'm freaking out, thinking I fucked up. And then it's like this repeating thought, you're not blocked on Facebook. I'm like, I thought I was. I go on there, holy shit, I'm not. Send her a message. Boom, we're going back and forth all like week, talking and stuff like that. Ask her out for Halloween, and I wanted it was specific. Halloween together, go to a Halloween party. Sorry, the 20% low battery. We're gonna have to start wrapping this up. So I want to go to a Halloween party. I want to go to a pumpkin patch because I'd never taken a girl to a pumpkin patch before. It was always like a fantasy, not a sexual one, just like a romantic fantasy. So I'm like, all right, I want to go pumpkin patch. I want to go to this Halloween party and buy costumes together. I had all this stuff I wanted to do, but it's a week before. She's like, I don't know. Like, I didn't even know there was a third party at the time. I just thought I got blocked for no reason. Or maybe I fucked something up. So anyway, and I was just relating everything to manifesting. Next thing you know, she's like, we wound up hanging out and we wound up spending the whole weekend together. And it was like even, and like that was on a time crunch. Last year when it happened, it was like I wanted to spend this one weekend with her, or whatever. She's like, I'm going out with my friends, whatever, blah, blah, blah. She didn't want to hang out. But I was doing robotic affirming at that time. But I don't like affirming. I like the Parrot app though. If I have to do robotic affirming or multiple affirmations to convince myself of something, I like the Parrot app. So I'm doing that, and I use it just like I listen to music because you're hearing your voice again and again and again. I got a nice little song on there I like, and she winds up being really sick, but she promised a friend she'd meet her, and she didn't feel like going, and it was a far ride away. And I'm like, I got nothing going on. I could drive you. So I drive her to meet up with her friend, and her friends tell like, and I was like, I had the assumption her friend's going to tell her she should spend more time with me. She leaves the thing. We decide to spend time together. We have this nice romantic date. I had no attachment to what was going to happen, but I wanted to spend that particular weekend. For whatever reason, I wanted to prove it that it was going to happen on that weekend. We'll end up happening, like everything happens and goes good. And we spent that weekend together. But robotic affirming did that. I have a video on that story too somewhere. I'd have to go back and brush up to make sure I get all the details right. But from what I remember, that was the details of it. So I hope that motivated you, those two little stories right there. So yeah, Viv, just persist on it. And I agree with Courtney. See yourself talking about it after you get back. Telling me the story, writing it in this chat or something like that. Do that as well. Just picture yourself doing that. I mean, I've pictured telling, and I also, that same time too, with the robotic affirming, I was picturing making a video about it, and I did make a video on it too. But I know my battery's about to drop out because I had to take out the charger to mic up. So with that, I want you guys to keep your heads up, keep spiraling up. I'm going to do the same thing. I appreciate Brooke for telling me the success story. I appreciate Courtney always telling me success stories and positive things and all the support. I appreciate all you guys who are always here supporting. Pirate, I appreciate the $5 donation. You're my brother, and we're going to get together soon to celebrate you manifesting your new home. You know, it's another thing too that somebody manifested a home, and another friend manifested himself renting in a place that he couldn't afford before. But everything, he's another viewer of the channel, but a personal friend of mine that I grew up with. Um, but yeah, just all these success stories. There's never, you can't fuck it up. You didn't fuck it up. It's going to work out in your favor because it's always working out in your favor. Give yourself every permission slip. Take every positive thing. It's 10 times greater than it is. Remove attention from the things you don't want. Put them where you do want it. Put that attention where you do want it. And have fun in the day to day. The bad can only exist when you're bringing it to the present. Bring only the good to the present. Stand watch at your mind and say, I'm only going to let good thoughts in. If you're stuck in a negative spiral and you can't stop thinking about a certain thing, what is something that used to give you passion? Go do that. Go to the gym, draw a picture, write a book, go do something that inspires you, make some music, go for a walk, hit up an old friend, do something to take your mind off it if you really can't drop it off your mind. And with that, so thanks for hopping online. No problem, Brooke. Thank you guys for having me. Great stream. Thank you for sharing your manifestation stories. Well, thank you for being here, John. I appreciate your continued support and always being around. You're welcome, Viv. And thank you guys for being here. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for whoever's going to watch this after. I love you guys very much. Keep your heads up. I want to try and do another live tomorrow. I'll be with my brother, but maybe I'll pop in the room real quick. We're supposed to film some comedy stuff tomorrow. So maybe I'll pop in, do a quick live, record some videos for this, and spend an hour or two with this stuff, and then pick up with him. And then Saturday, maybe do another live. Then Monday's going to be a late one because I did promise SP's coming back on Sunday. We're supposed to go to the Renaissance Fair. We went the other day, but we ran out of time, so we're going to go early. Other than that, though, I mean, I tell you guys every little detail of my life. But love you guys very much. Appreciate you for being here. If you want the coaching, I'm extending that instead of 150 an hour to 100 an hour till September, throughout September. So if you guys want that, there's that. If you want to go on the Discord, I'm thinking maybe Sunday we'll do a little chat room or something like that, or Saturday. I don't know yet, but do a little chat room on there, which is just like a little mastermind group session. And that's about it. I don't think I have anything else. I'll be making a lot of community posts with updates. I'm working on making a website for the thing where I think if I'm doing it correctly, I should be able to blog on there. And then the Discord is also going to have my articles and stuff that I'm writing about it. I've got a book outlined. I got a lot of stuff on the plate. It's just stop the laziness. Become the guy who needs to do what he needs to do. So with that, I love you guys very much, and I will see you probably tomorrow. Oh, here's how I turn it off.